ye fanse wondi na programul la kabal fansu radio to Home Digital FM wala Su FM ile programul kane dang kabunang Home Digital FM la apoto hanibe dulal to mialon ko mobile network ko buka sembo soto je bake pour que muna fanyin apola abuka megabyte jamata ka boyla data to Home Digital FM jamala kango.
Digital FM 99.9 in Brikama Town. For all the businessmen and women, move out of the darkness, follow the light. Come sell your business with us today. Home Digital FM, let your customers know what you're offering. Be on top of your competitors. Home Digital FM, we will help you stand out. Come advertise with us today for all your businesses. We offer live program coverage both on Facebook Live and on the radio. Source to sell your products and services. The media is in control. Tell your customers when, where, and how to meet you through Home Digital FM. Don't worry. Do your business. We will sell you out. Call us today on 734-3125 or 200-5770 620-1413 766-8394. Home Digital FM. Follow the light.
The Sorrow of a Stepmother is a book written by a young Gambian author who goes by the name Fatoumata Bayo, a student of Kotu Senior Secondary School. The Sorrow of a Stepmother depicts a true African setting of step parentage and polygamous family setting. The book was launched on Sunday, the 24th July 2022 at the premises of the Kotu Senior Secondary School. In his welcoming remarks, the Vice Principal of the school, Ustaz Sahtijan Cham, heaped praises on the author and encouraged her parents to continue supporting the young author to excel in the future.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. First of all, allow me to send my best greeting to everybody here present. Allow me also to stretch out my hands to Allah the Almighty who created us with fervency and intense devotion so that He will shower His blessing to everybody here present. On behalf of the Regional Director Munazama Da'wa al-Islamiyya, Dr. Lubna Abdul Aziz Al-Hassan, and also the principal of Kotu Senior Secondary School, Mr. Lamin Sanya. And on my own behalf, I would like to welcome you all to this important gathering, to this August gathering. We are here today, as you all know, to launch a book written by our student. First of all, I would like to tell everybody here present that this is Kotu Senior Secondary School, who is always ready to nurture talents of students. Whoever is here, among them, all we ask you to do is to showcase your talent. Ms. Bayo is one of them today. This is why I wish that everybody, all teachers and students who are here today to grace this occasion, because Ms. Bayo is part of us, is part and parcel of Kotu Senior Secondary School, and any effort, any achievement she realized, my brothers and sisters here present, that one is done because of the little effort Kotu also contributed towards her life. To the writer, I would like to advise you not to drop your pen. We need you. The Gambian society needs you. Your religion needs you. And the society, people, men and women of this country needs you. They need your efforts. They need to read from you, from your writings, because we don't have any doubt, an iota of doubt for that matter, that your writing will benefit the nation of this country. Please keep it up. Go ahead. Any support the school has will be given to you. Any support the Munazama al-Da'wa al-Islamiyya has in this country will be provided for you, so that things are easy. To the rest of the students, allow me to tell you that you also should try to showcase your talents. There are different talents. Showcase them. Come to us. Talk to us. Show us these talents. We are going to nurture them. I would not end and perform this prayer without giving a special thanks to the principal himself, who is always ready to stand by his students and teachers. I also cannot end this short discussion without making mention the name of Mr. Almami Dumbuya, the responsible of the English department is conferred to him. He is always standing by students, making sure that they achieve. Thank you, Mr. Dumbuya. So, for the parents of the writer, I would like to advise you to take care of this young writer. I would like to advise you to stand by her. Do not tell her that you were born only yesterday, you cannot talk to me. No. You cannot give me any advice. No. Do not tell her that. This is a gift given to her by Allah. We have to accept it. Even if she is the youngest person in our family. But she should be given this respect because it's Allah the Almighty who gave it to her. We should accept that. We should not discourage her. I am going to stand against anybody who will try to discourage Bio from going on, keeping it up, working more, writing. Right. We have a lot to read and we have a lot to know. So on that note, I would like to thank everybody, particularly Mr. Jallo, and all others who are present. On behalf of the principal, I will tell that we are happy to have you here in this hall and to tell you that you are here for us, and not only for Ms. Bayo. Ms. Bayo is part of us now. Ms. Bayo, I will tell you here that she is part of us. Wherever she is, if anybody wants to go to her, if anybody wants to read her books, let the person remember that I am also reading the book which is prepared and written, authored at Kotu Senior Secondary School.
Almami Dumbuya, the head of English department at Kotu Senior Secondary School, describes Fatoumata as a quiet and hard-working student who, without a doubt, can be one of the best authors in the country if given the required support.
I want to thank the organizers of this program. As I stand before you, I feel fulfilled in the sense that before the 3 years of training, Fatoumata Bayo elapses, we see signs of success. The outcome of our efforts is bearing fruit. I want to thank my colleague teachers in the English department who have nurtured her, to this level. I equally want to thank our administration for giving us the impetus to come thus far. When Stepmother came here 3 years ago from St. Peter's, the first day I saw her was when she came with some manuscripts that, Mr. Dumbuya, I am working on a book. Could you help me proofread? I said, okay. Come to my office during break and I will look at them and I will tell you what to do next. She didn't fail, she came. And constantly she has been coming. I also introduced her to some teachers because at times we are so busy that the time she comes, you will not have time. But I introduced her to other teachers in the department who also assisted, and collectively, we made the dream work. Stepmother has been a very quiet and respectful young girl. In fact, you hardly notice her. She's very reticent. One of my colleague teachers told me the first time she came to discover Stepmother's talent was when she applied for the position of assistant head girl. The way she interfaced with him, made him come to me and ask, why didn't this girl apply for the position of head girl? She's so fluent and she's quiet. I've never seen her being punished. I said, well, that is what she wanted. She wanted to be assistant head girl. So there was no question about it. She became one, up to the time she's living now. The book she has written, I have read it, The Sorrows of a Stepmother. When you look at the book, how many of us have bought it? Because there was a time I held it in the assembly and I was telling some students to patronize with Stepmother. You see a depiction of the true African setting, the social systems of the African setting, the extended family, the polemics that at times characterize our societies, and how we as children can contribute in peace, and how we can equally unmake our families. The setting, of course, is in the Gambia, because we see schools like St. Peter's being mentioned, a school like Methodist, Sisekunda, all these are names that are common in our setting. You have the Dramekunda, a set of family, and the Sisekunda. And we see the difference in the way these families held their stepmother. In the case of Dramekunda, the children and their mother were very antagonistic. They never wanted to see Vivian. They saw her as an enemy. Whilst in Sisekunda, the co-wives never wanted to see Lily. But because of the love and empathy of the children, they had to convince their mothers to accept Lily as one of them. And through the children, peace reigned in their family. As opposed to the Dramekunda, struggle continued that culminated to the demise of the husband. And we also saw, even with the death of the husband, how the children and their mothers forced Vivian to go out of the house. She had to leave, and we know the consequences. You see, one of the things we learn from this is that our culture cannot be abused. Our systems gives room for extended families.
The guest speaker of the event, Mr. Mudu Lamin I Al-Musaf Sow, was tasked to talk about challenges of Gambian writers and a brief rundown of Gambian literature.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel much obliged to give a rundown of Gambian literature. It has been cited in history that Dr. Landry Peters is actually the father of Gambian literature. But let me mention to this gathering that the father, the founder, or can I say the mother of Gambian literature was a woman by the name Phyllis Whitley. Let me take you quickly to a rundown of our literature. We started in the year in 1662, when the Gambia was considered to be a colony of Her Majesty the Queen of England. At that time, education in the country was very low. We had a very poor educational background and infrastructure. As a result, the Gambia was declared by Her Majesty the Queen of England as a colony. Not until in the year 1753, when Phyllis Whitley was born. She was a slave woman who was captured here in Batos, now Banjul, and taken to New England. She had a benevolent master who named her Phyllis Whitley, Mr. and Mrs. John Whitley. And she was lucky to be educated. She read theology and Latin, and in no time, she became an author of genuine talent. In fact, in the year 1772, she wrote an anthology or collection of poems entitled Morals and Religions, which has depicted a lot about our literature. From the year 1772, when Phyllis Whitley wrote the first work of Gambian literature, not until in the year 1863, meaning 183 years later, there was nothing like Gambian literary work which was written. In fact, the colonial government have enacted the Copyright Ordinance in 1911. That is because what was mainly coming out of the colony, the Gambia, was mainly written texts and documents, not creative works, not at all. Not until when the Gambia became independent in 1965, Dr. Lendrin Peters, a UK-trained surgeon doctor who was born, of course, in Batos, and he died in 2009, November 23rd, 2009. Dr. Lendrin Peters published the second round, which ignited and marked as the voice of modern contemporary Gambian literature. Dr. Peters was a doctor and a surgeon. He was in the same generation with Wal Soyinka, Akimbo, and of course Chinua Achebe. Ladies and gentlemen, why did Dr. Lendrin Peters entitle his work the second round? Because the first round was rejected. The first round was rejected because he attempted to give an exact representation of Gambian literature. He failed in the first attempt. This is why the Quran tells us that فَإِنَّ مَا الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَا الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ وَإِلَى رَبِّكَ فَارْغَب. But let us not forget, the first person to write with a pen was a prophet, Prophet Idris. That is why the Quran mentioned him and said that Prophet Idris has been somebody with good moral characters. He was a knowledgeable man of wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, Prophet Idris is known in Christianity as Enoch. He was the first person to write with a pen. But of course that history will not be spoken about in terms of modern literature. Literature and writing has been accustomed, and of course it's been misunderstood and misrepresented to be from the West. Now, from that aspect of theology and religion in connection to writing, I was talking about Dr. Lendrin Peters' second round because the first round was rejected. And when the book was published by Enekman in 1965, the year the Gambia became independent, it marked as the flame that ignited Gambian literature. Many people started writing. And in fact, in 1972, he founded a literary magazine called Indanan, the Wall of Word for Champion. And as a result, many writers started putting pen to paper to speak about our country and to give an exact representation of Gambian literature. And when Danan closed in the 70s, of course there was no choice, but still Gambians have to write what belonged to them. The reason why Chinua Achebe wrote Things Fall Apart was because there was a misrepresentation of African identity and characterization by Mr. Johnson. In his book, he described Africa as a continent of barbarianism and people who are not civilized. Chinua Achebe wanted to give a direct response to Mr. Johnson's book. That is why he said things fall apart. Now when things fall apart, what happened? They will destroy. In fact, the book we are launching today has a connection with things fall apart. In the book, Things Fall Apart, in chapter 3, and I quote, the book said, the child that calls you father do not have a hand in his death, referring to Ikemefuna and to Okonko. Now we are talking about a book about step-parenting in the Gambia, which has been a major issue. The writer has read widely, and she has a good moral character to be able to depict the behavioral and cultural aspect of the Gambian society. Because the Bible tells us in John chapter 3 verse 6 that which is born of the flesh is the flesh, and anything that is born of the spirit is also the spirit. The Bible says in Romans chapter 3 verse 4 that let God be the truth and every man a liar. And the Holy Quran tells us in Surah Al-Alaq chapter 96 of the Holy Quran, God is saying that he taught man the use of the pen. He who taught man the use of the pen. The use of the pen is writing. Therefore, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the challenges facing Gambian writers. From post-independence to date, our country have not gotten a fully established company that deals with conventional book publishing.
Professor Dr. Cherno Omar Barry is given the responsibility to launch the book, and in his deliberations, Dr. Barry deliberated on the topic, how can writing affect our lives?
When I asked what I should be doing today, I was tasked to speak a little bit about writing, how it affects our lives, and most importantly, how it can be of relevance, especially from the perspective of a writer. I don't want to bore you, because I know lecturers, I'm a lecturer, I'm a teacher. So when we have the pulpit, we are so excited, we can spend the whole day talking. I'm sure Mr. Dokure knows, right? I will begin by just making it brief. To start with, writing is in itself among the 4 competencies in language learning, the part that is most difficult. For those of us who are teaching language, they say that the easiest is listening. Listening to people and learning to understand is the easiest. That's the first thing you learn in language learning. And then the second thing is reading. Because these ones are what we call comprehension skills. You are trying to comprehend. Listening, you are listening to understand, and reading, you are reading to understand. So you are within the comprehension level. But when you come to the expression level, the first is about speaking. Well, you cannot speak until you have enough linguistic and grammatical baggage. Otherwise, you are ashamed to speak because you will make a lot of mistakes. You don't want to talk. Whether it's going to be learning Mandinka, English, any other language is the same. And then the latter most important part is about writing. People will tell you that writing might be simple. No, it is not. Because writing is not only about scribbling words on paper. It's about mapping out your ideas. It's about writing something of substance. It's about organizing your ideas. But more difficult of all is about writing. When you are writing a novel or you are writing a play, you need to know that from page 1, there is an evolution in your story leading to a conclusion. And therefore, it becomes far more challenging and far more difficult. I'm a literary critic. I don't write novels. I'm not like Al-Musaf Sow, who is very good at writing. I do criticism. So if you write your book, I'm the one who will massacre it. Who will tell you it is good or it is bad. So be assured that if I tell you a book is good, it's because I've already taken a lot of things into consideration. One, who is writing it? What is the level of education the person is in? And for Fatoumata Bayo, naturally, she is still in school. So if she is able to write what she has written, definitely it means that she has already attained a higher level of understanding of the language, or a mastery of the language at least, which I believe is a very, very, high achievement. That is number one. The second now is about how this story has been built. How has the plot evolved? How has the story really evolved from the beginning to the end? I didn't read everything, so I read the starting, and I read the end. So I'm happy to see that Vivian was able to marry Osja, the son of the Solicitor Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Jah, and that all of them are scrambling when they have a triplet that the children look very much or have their noses and mouths. But this is the whole humor. You look at the sorrow in the book, you look at the pain in the book, but at the same time, you also look at the beautiful ending of the book. So definitely, for a writing like that, it is worth commending. So I really commend Fatoumata Bayo, who also, by the way, goes by the name Mbinki Bagaba Bayo, right? Okay, why do we write? Why do we write? First of all, we expect to write because we are expecting people to read. That is the first thing, why we want to write. But let me just focus more on why we write. That is important. You know, from the first time that religion even started, and I'm happy that, I was teasing Ali and Musa when I said you're becoming a young Zakir Naik now, quoting the Bible, quoting the Quran. But that's good, because these are what we call the foundation books of our religion. They are the foundation books of our lives. So knowing the Quran and knowing the Bible is important. But look at it. Look at those two books. They are books of literature. You know, you go to Proverbs in the Bible. You read the Quran. The Quran is beautifully versed. It's beautifully rhymed. If you understand a little bit of Arabic, you will, and you understand how these rhymings are going and what is being said, there is no way in some parts of the book where you will not cry. But if you don't understand the meaning, you just enjoy the beauty of the music or the music of the Quran. But you will not understand the meaning. Because if you understand the meaning, then you understand how Allah has crafted those words and made them so poetic and made them so beautiful. Yet, they admonish, they reveal good news, but they also create stories. All of our books have stories. All of our books. You go to the Old Testament, in the Bible, you read about the story of Moses, the story of Solomon, and the whole of other prophets. The same thing applies to the Quran. Why is God using stories to teach us about our religion? It's because stories are fundamental elements of exposing things to us, even our own religion. And then you look at also the first word that was uttered by the angel to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Iqra, read. And then you don't only read anything, you have to read in the name of your Lord. But what does it mean? Was that through the prophet that we get to know God? It's through our own prophets that we get to discover our religion. So if a prophet was asked to read, we are also asked to read. And I will tell you one thing, and I'm happy that your English teacher mentioned Mr. Dumbuya. Sorry, I keep saying Dukure, Mr. Dumbuya. The most important element of anybody studying is reading. Because if you don't read, you will not know anything. You know, our MC mentioned that when he read my profile, he was very impressed and all that. You know what happened? When I finished my PhD, I realized I didn't know anything. I knew nothing in this world. That my knowledge is even smaller than a drop of water in the whole Atlantic Ocean. Even a drop of water. You can imagine when you have one droplet of all this rain, only one drop, and you throw it in the whole Atlantic Ocean. Do you know the quantity of water in the Atlantic Ocean? Then I realized I know nothing. I am, in fact, at the bottom of the ladder of knowledge. Because I realized how much there is knowledge to learn. And that even if I had many other hundreds of years with me to live on this earth and keep reading every day, I would still not master that drop of water. So what it means is you have to continue to learn, and you cannot learn without reading. So reading is important. So what about the writer? Because the writer is expecting the reader to read. But what is the writer supposed to do? First, he's supposed to share knowledge. That is the first task of the writer, because the purpose of writing is sharing. And if you look at the book, you realize that Fatoumata has been able to share pains and sorrows of a young wife in a polygamous marriage. He's able to share joys or retribution at the end of sorrow. That even if you are patient and you are consistent in good character and you are good, and like Vivian did, and you continue to nurture respect, even when you have adversity, when you are in pain, when everybody opposes you, that there is always a good ending. And even when Vivian was beaten and thrown away for death in the trash, there was still hope that something good will come her way. And that is how she was saved by Osja, and that is how she finally got married, and she's now living. And what happened? Those who were giving her all the trouble had to come and seek for forgiveness. So it's teaching us good character. So that book is sharing a lot of things, and it's by us reading that we get to understand that. But if she had not written that, if the books have not been written at all, if the Quran was not there, if the Bible was not there, we would have been a lost population.
In declaring the event closed, Fatoumata Bayo, the author of Sorrows of a Stepmother, thanked everyone for making the event a success.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I want to smile, I want to laugh. I'm indeed in a state of contentment. Friends, invited guests, I want to thank you for honoring my invitation. I'm grateful and I really appreciate it. So a lot of time when we had tests, Mr. Dumbia and Mr. Ba, my English teacher, always mark us, and you know how students are. Most of the time my classmates will be like, Mr. Dumbia, what you gave us is like you mark us down. We had this correct, but you gave us wrong. I will always be sitting in my little corner. My classmate Fatsar will always come to me and tell me, Bayo, are you satisfied with your marks? I will tell her, no, I'm not. She will tell me, then why are you not complaining to Mr. Dumbia or Mr. Ba? I never complain because I had something at home, and that is the stories I wrote. From the correction they always give me, I realize there's a lot of mistakes I have committed when I was writing my stories. So I always go home, rectify my mistakes, edit my work, and then share it through WhatsApp. I want to thank you for everything. I really appreciate it, and thank you all for coming.
The event was characterized by plays and poems recitation from the students of the Kotu Senior Secondary School. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
In case you never come across that statement, I will tell you. The water might be soft, but its flow can break the strength of the rock. I feel proud because of the blessing I have for my husband and the children. If not for the love they have shown me in this house, I will have put you both in your places. What is this? Somebody can see you have peace in her own husband's house because of some jealous old woman. Just leave me alone or else. Or else what? Oh my goodness. So Lily, it is you. It is me you are talking to in that manner. You know what? I'm not bothered by you. Wait and what? What happens? Osman! Osman!
Is everything okay?
You would believe what this good for nothing but of your father said to me. Osman, this woman actually insulted your mother.
Mother? What did you do to her? I know how to feel. I'm so simple insulted. Just like that. Besides, if you both have problems, I'm sorry. Not me. I'm sorry, God. I don't want to think about it.
Come on! I need you to come back here. Oh
For Mengbe Kering TV, I am Aliou Fall.
Are you unable to tune into our radio frequency from where you live? Don't worry, the problem is over. Simply download Home Digital FM radio app on your Android phone or devices, including laptops or computers, from Google Play Store or App Store, and enjoy listening to excellent broadcasts from your #1 radio station in the Gambia, Home Digital FM, Su Radio. Don't miss your favorite programs from Home Digital FM app, even from whereas with limited mobile networks. Fact, using the app does not use much megabytes. Home Digital FM, the voice of the people.